Hello, my name is Tracy Allen, and I want to welcome you to Cooking with Some Friends. Hello and welcome to Cooking with Some Friends. I'm going to share with you today a chocolate chip cookie recipe, and these are for big, thick chocolate chip cookies. They'll stand up a little higher. They're a larger cookie. So I've got some room temperature butter, a cup of it, and a half cup of dark brown sugar. And I'm going to add a half a cup of light brown sugar. Refill my canister. And my son is in the background being a pain. Yes. Which, I don't know why that would surprise me. And a half cup of granulated sugar. And I'm going to cream all of this together. Okay, so I've creamed my sugars and my softened butter. Now I have 2 eggs that are at room temperature that I want to mix in, along with 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. And don't let me forget to send home vanilla with you. Yeah. We make our own vanilla, so. And it's so much better. Okay. I've learned too to always put the lid right back on, because I don't know how many times I've bumped it and glad the lid's on. Okay, I'm going to set that aside, and then I'm going to take 4 cups of cake flour, not all-purpose flour, along with 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and a half teaspoon of baking soda, and then 3/4 teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to whisk these together, and then I'm going to use my spatula to gradually add the dry to the wet. So the addition of cornstarch and then using a whisk and the cake flour is what makes these that much bigger. So I'll just continue doing this, adding it gradually. Okay, we've got our flour stirred in, our flour mixture. Then I'm going to add in 2 cups of chocolate chips. And sometimes when you do chocolate chip cookies, if you have just a little bit of flour still to go, that's a really good time to add the chocolate chip cookies. It's partially because the chocolate chips get a little bit coated with flour, so they stay where they're meant to be, and partially because that way you're less likely to overmix. So I'm going to finish mixing these in, and then I'm going to cover this and refrigerate it for 30 minutes. So after you cool your cookie dough for about 30 minutes, excuse me, you're going to use a large, like an ice cream scoop, and form your cookies, and you're going to put them in a 375-degree oven for 13 to 14 minutes, or at least until the edges are starting to brown. And then you want to make sure that they go ahead and cool on your cookie sheet, because they will continue to bake. And that's all there is to our thick and big chocolate chip cookies. Hello, and welcome to Cooking with Some Friends. I am going to use up some of the ham that we had for our Sunday meal, and it was a really good ham. We've got just a little bit left, so I'm going to make some Denver omelets. And it's kind of interesting, the story behind Denver omelets. They probably began with the Chinese rail workers when they were trying to transport their foods for egg foo young, and they wanted to keep their eggs fresh. And so the story goes that that's where they came up with the Denver omelet. And of course, the last stop, one of the last stops for the rail when it was being built, was in Denver. So anyway, sometimes this is also called a Western omelet. And you can kind of do your own variety, but I have some olive oil heating, and I'm going to add to that some peppers. And you can use red peppers, green peppers. I've got some red and orange and a little bit of onion, and I'm going to saute those in that olive oil until they're tender. At that point, I'm going to add my ham in and heat that up, and then take it off the heat and let it stay warm while I make the omelet part of this with the eggs. So I just want to saute these till they're nice and tender, and then we'll add our ham in, get that warm, and set it aside. Our peppers, onions, and ham have completed. I'm just keeping those warm. I put the lid on that. Now I'm melting a couple tablespoons of butter in my frying pan, and I'm going to take 4 eggs and 4 egg whites and whisk those together, along with 2 tablespoons of water. I'm doing this while my pan is heating. And I have shredded up some white cheddar. It'll take about a half a cup of that. And as soon as that butter melts, I'm going to pour half of my egg mixture into that pan and let that cook for 2 or 3 minutes, or until the eggs start to set. And you want your heat on about medium-low. And then once that's set, I can add half of my cheese, turn off the heat, let that cheese melt, and then add in half of my pepper mixture and fold my Denver omelet. So my butter's almost melted. I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper, and that's just to taste. This in. And just let it cook until the eggs are set. And that'll take a couple of minutes. So our omelet has mostly cooked. I added our cheese down the middle and let that melt down some. Now I'm going to take half of our ham mixture and put it down the center. And then we're ready to fold our omelet over and serve it. Thanks for joining us for this session of Cooking with Some Friends. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And find us on Facebook at Cooking with Some Friends.